Alright, what's up, y'all? Let me grab this. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 25th of August, 2026. This is a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, one of our fourths to us, where our slogan is allowing the body to work. Okay, allowing the body to work. We're only a clothing company for the sake of the human body's physical functioning. We discuss the anatomy of the human body in great depth here. We just give a lot of free modifications in universal clothing imbalances that are shipped across the entire earth in modern 2026 that just didn't happen in the past. There's truly only one way the human body could ever work. There's no possible opinion to it. The body grows by itself. In the image of God, in the image of Jesus Christ. We're a clothing company, our 5-word company name. But the literal word of clothing, hats, gloves, pants, shoes, socks, tops, undergarments, jewelry, something over your shoulder, like this t-shirt that I'm not actually wearing, but I just put it over my shoulder, a bag over the shoulder. The literal word of clothing, the way that God clothes the fields with grass, anything physically placed onto anything else. So human being clothing, well, gravity, first of all, or one of the things is what I mean, no specific order necessarily, but it has the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies, okay, gravity. Let's talk about this, okay? This video's titled, the 25th of August, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder, and I will be leading In the Image Clothing Company for life. Oversized tops, okay, are a big deal. Let's talk about this. The shoulders can't lift in oversized tops. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. So, yeah, joints and material of clothing, meshing with joints of body parts. One of the things about clothing is it has to fit, okay? The body's designed by God to work. It's just this mechanical machine, measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations until the bones hit into each other. What we have is bones connecting directly to each other through ligaments. They're a very specific shape and length on the ends. The bones grow by themselves to be what they are, and they can never possibly mesh any other way besides how they mesh, okay? We've got muscles connecting to bones through tendons, and muscles only pull and directly in line where they connect to bones, and that's all that muscles could ever do. We've just got opposing muscles to all the functioning. Even in what seems like a push, we're pulling muscles to extend a hinge on the back side of a hinge joint, and that seems like a push maybe, but it's just a pull. The body only pulls, okay? Even opposing musculature always pulls to stabilize us in a neutral position. The neutral position is just the way the bones are shaped. Watch my shoulders. The 25th of August, 2026, in the Image Clothing Company's main site here, there's a neutral height to the shoulders, okay? The shoulders can come up, the shoulders can go down. There's a neutral. There's also a neutral front and back in the shoulders. There's a neutral position to the entire body. There's a neutral rotation to the shoulders from internal rotation or external rotation. There's a neutral. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Physics, universal laws outside of all of us. Gravity, for example, the vertical pull to gravity comes down and meshes with the horizontal surface of the planet Earth. This creates a 90-degree right perpendicular angle. Just different ways of saying the same thing there. There's only one way that the body could ever possibly work. We deal with universal laws outside of all of us, okay? We don't get to decide or change truth. The body truly grows by itself, okay? We eat earth, it becomes the human being. You either eat plants that grow from the earth or animals that eat plants that grew from the earth, and it becomes the human body. The human body then dies and decomposes back into the planet Earth. It's always the same stuff. Matter, it can't be created or destroyed. It's just what everything's made up of on this planet Earth, broken down to as small as it could get. So the 3 baseline things clothing needs to be, and we're getting into the discussion, but I don't have a claim here, so let's discuss it thoroughly so you know what I'm really saying and why. and how it applies to you even if you don't care to want to try to care. In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, the 25th of August 2026. This video's title: Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. Okay, we'll talk about it, but staying centered. There's a center line of the body. Even opposing musculature on either side, the right and the left of the human being, connects into the center line of the body. And the center line of the body, the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, the jaw stabilizing the entire body. I'm choking up in this video, man, like in my throat, my sinuses. Meshes with Earth's vertical gravity pull. Okay, we have the jaw stabilizing the entire body with even opposing musculature on the right side, you can see it, and on the left side, you can see that. Okay, going through the collars of our tops, musculature of the neck from the shoulders up to the skull and the shoulders to the cervical spine, the spine of the neck, but then also from the shoulders to the jaw bone, okay, as you can see. So collars of tops, they need to stay centered and snug. We give a lot of free modifications in clothing under In the Image Clothing Company. A lot of universal clothing imbalances are shipped across the entire earth in ways that never could have possibly happened in the past. We've got technology like robots that stitch imbalances into clothing, rotated seams, collar seams. In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, for example, both of these tops I'm going to be showing in this video, these t-shirts here, have a seam in the collar. But we've got even opposing musculature around the center of our neck, which our collars sit around, or necklaces, or anything around the neck. It needs to stay centered and snug. So the 25th of August, 2026, this video's title under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here: Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. We discuss where clothing fits on the body, but really clothing sits on the body with gravity, okay? 2 feet evenly oppose the center line of the human being at our very foundation, gripping the ground, gripping arches inward to keep us vertical. And there's just only one way the body could work. On the surface of the earth, with the feet flat on the ground, the term zero drop in any brand of shoe, just flat like the horizontal surface of the planet Earth. Before you could ever go up a hill or down a hill, you have to start neutral. It's just physics. And then the body standing straight up on the vertical pull to gravity. Even mathematical opposing bends from back and forth in the body to stay vertical, opposing Earth's vertical gravity pull. The ankles backward, the knees forward, the hips backward, the low back forward, the mid back backward, the upper back, just the neck, called the cervical spine, forward. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Gravity's in between these back and forth bends. The 25th of August, 2026, In the Image Clothing Company's main site here. This video's title, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder and leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. Watch my shoulders lift. We've got 3 bones coming to meet at the edge of the shoulders. The collarbone, called clavicle, on the front of the upper chest, starting here at the center line of the body at the top of the sternum and the base of the throat. This bone comes up and out to the edge of the shoulder, meeting the upper arm bone, called the humerus, coming up straight from the Earth's vertical gravity pull. The arm comes up from the humerus to the shoulder. On the back, we've got these big bones on the upper back called the scapula, or the shoulder blades. Okay, these scapulas or scapula bones have a peak to them called the acromion that comes and meets the other 2 bones of the shoulder. So 3 bones just come, and the ends of the bones meet together and become the shoulder joint. Joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts. In the Image Clothing Company, it's about the human body's functioning. Everything we do in life, in waking and sleeping existence as a human being, we're doing it in and through the literal word of whatever's clothing our bodies. Watch my shoulders move. This is my shoulders lifting. This is my shoulders rising. This is the 25th of August, 2026. This video's title under In the Image Clothing Company's main site is Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. Watch my shoulders lift. Okay? It's an arc. Gravity pulls the pendulum of the hand down from the other end of the arm at the shoulder straight. That's the neutral. There's always two sides to a neutral. The arms could swing forward, the arms could swing back. But we can just arc the entire arms up above the head. Okay? Meaning the whole arm straight into the elbow just does one thing. You know, it all does the same thing. It's all one straight line. Anywhere the hand goes, the shoulder goes. If the arms are straight at the elbow, between the hand and shoulder, it's just a hinge joint, okay? If we straighten it out, the arm just has this arc. The arm just arcs around, okay? Okay. In mathematics, it's physics. There's only one way the human body could ever work. 25th of August, 2026. In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, the video's title, Oversized Tops Don't Allow the Shoulders to Lift. So, the joints of the material of our tops need to be right at the very edges of the joints of the bones of our shoulders. We need to mesh that location. Okay, we talk about where clothing sits very clearly under In the Image Clothing Company. Every body who has one, and every one who has a body. This universal human design that grows by itself in the image of Jesus Christ. Here's your clothing company. Our 5-word company name. No spaces between the 5 words. In the Image Clothing Company. My point is, the top seams of the shoulders need to sit evenly right behind the peak of the shoulders, because that's how the shoulders come up and connect to the skull. Is the upper trapezius muscle connecting to the top of that shoulder blade or scapula. And that's right behind the peak of the shoulder. The peak of the shoulder is the end of the collarbone or the clavicle. That little bone on top of the shoulder. So, seams evenly right behind the shoulders, on top of the peak, right behind that tallest bone, the end of the collarbone or clavicle, 2 names for the same bone. And then the edges of the shoulder seams as close as we can get to just where the 3 bones of the shoulder come and meet at the ends of the bones. Okay? Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video's title, 25th of August, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder, okay, of In the Image Clothing Company. I'll be here for the rest of my life. Truth is truth. My point is, there's only one way the human body could ever work. It's just determined by the shape and length of the bones that grow by themselves. But if you place something onto the body that's not sitting in the same location that the ends of the shape and length of the bones come to meet in, then the body's not going to work. Watch this. Oversized clothing, okay? An imbalance in itself. We talk about a lot of imbalances in clothing. Clothing that's too big for you is an imbalance. You know, I said a few minutes ago here, give or take, there's a neutral height to the shoulders, and I showed it, and just with the laws of physics, there would mathematically have to be to have 2 sides of motion, either lifting the shoulders up or bringing the shoulders down. And it just meshes with the wrist as well. The wrist coming up, the shoulders come up. The wrist going down, the shoulders go down. And the wrist neutral is just the finger bones, the only way they grow. Tracking in line. There's only one way the human body could ever work, and oversized clothing pulls the body down. Gravity has the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies. I know I already said it in this video, but let's make it clear. Let's make it clear for the sake of the date mark documentation. This is a permanent company of truth. We don't get to decide or change truth. The truth is, oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video's title, 25th of August, 2026. Under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here. Watch this, okay? So here I have my right shoulder seam right at the edge of my shoulder, okay? On this white top, joints of material of clothing, meshing with joints of body parts. A seam right at the very edge of the shoulder. On my left side here, in this oversized top, it's 2 sizes larger than I wear, and 2 sizes larger than the shirt underneath it, okay? I wear a medium, personally, just for the understanding, you can see what I'm saying. This white t-shirt's a size medium in men's, if you will, okay? This t-shirt over it is a size extra large, okay? A men's extra large. So 2 sizes difference between these tops. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video's title, the 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. Spoken by me. Yeah, Evan Strong. The founder, okay, the point is, this is huge. All the things we discuss in clothing, this is one of the absolute biggest things. You can have a centered item of a top, but if it's oversized, it's imbalanced from top to bottom. Okay? Watch me lift my right arm, okay? As I do, this medium t-shirt that fits with the joints of the edge of the shoulder, right at the joints of my bones at the shoulder, I can just lift my right arm up above my head. Nothing in my body has to change. And I'm just swinging the arc of my arm, just having my arm straight, and it just swings up above my head. Joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts. Clothing has to fit. You don't have to care to even want to try to care at all about In The Image Clothing Company or about clothing. It's the only thing physically placed on your physical body. Your physical body is physically placed on this physical rock in space we call Earth. Gravity pulls the shoulders down from an oversized top sitting on top of them. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to rise. This video's title, okay? Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. The 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. Watch my left arm. If I try to lift my left arm up, I've got this 2 sizes too large t-shirt on. The joint of the material of the clothing is about 4 inches lower than the joint of the bones at the edge of my shoulder. Okay? Try to lift my left arm, and my shoulder can't lift in oversized tops. Okay? You gotta move where the joints are. The joints of the body parts never change. The body grows by itself. The bones only join where they join. From full grown until death, your body is just the exact same thing. The bones, they're just the same shape and length. But an oversized top doesn't allow the shoulders to lift. Okay. I mean, look, let's say the collars are just completely centered. And more than just saying it, let's get them sitting nice, fairly evenly right around the circumference of my even opposing musculature in my body, from the center line of it at the neck, the cervical spine. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video's title, the 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. You try to lift your arm up in an oversized top, and your arm hits the material of the clothing. Your whole body has to try to accommodate. But it's not an accommodation, it's an unnatural, unhealthy compensation that's happening. Yeah. Oversized tops, the point is the visual. I mean, we discussed this, but I've never, up until now, shown it like this. Where one side of my shoulder, you can see, just has free motion. Look at that. That's how the body works. There's no training the human being that's physically possible to do. Differing from how it grows by itself. Unless you had a surgical procedure to change the shape and or length of your bones, you're never going to train the human being to do anything besides just what it can do. It grows by itself, it only moves where it moves. But it'll just naturally arc the entire arm's pendulum with the whole lever of the arm off the hinge of the shoulder up above the head, if nothing's in its way. The body, literally clothing it, something physically placed onto it, Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. 25th of August, 2026. This video is titled under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. Spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder, the leader for life of In The Image Clothing Company. Watch my left shoulder. I try to lift it up, and I'm pulling all the weight of all this excess material here, and it's just hanging on my arm, and the seam is clear off from where my bones actually join at my shoulder, where the motion happens. So your whole body deactivates. Your body's got to work all together. The body works activated as a whole. Okay? Everything in the body's got its own individual role to play. Everything plays its own function. Stabilization happens through the entire human being, even in just breathing. It takes the entire body to stabilize all this motion. Okay? Expansion and contraction of the lungs within the rib cage. The rib bones actually move. And the whole body's got to stabilize to stay standing up, for example, while all this motion's happening. In the trunk of the body, and the whole rib cage, and the shoulders connect to the ribs. Oversized tops are placed on the shoulders, they're placed on the ribs. There's only one location the body can move at. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. Deactivates your hips. It deactivates your feet, gripping the ground. Pulls your shoulders down because there's a neutral height. And you stay in that neutral height and you just arc the arm above the head. But if the oversized top is having gravity just pull on it, your shoulder's already low from the neutral. It's just hard to even lift my shoulder to show this neutral position with this amount of excess material hanging off the edge of my shoulder. I know it's crossed across my body here as well, but that's not really what's affecting this. It's just gravity, mostly. Well, I mean, not only because it's just also stuff physically in the way, but that's what I mean is gravity's pulling down on the clothing from out here. Gravity's pulling down clear from the edge of the short sleeve that's like at my elbow joint here, and this oversized top, 2 sizes too large. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video is titled on the 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. Man, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. I'll be here to lead it for life. Here's the thing. The joint of the clothing is clear over here. Over here, on this size medium t-shirt that fits me with joints of material of clothing right at the edges of the joints of the bones of my shoulder, I can move my shoulder. Over here, the clothing's trying to move out here, like about 4 inches, give or take, off the edge of my shoulder. But my shoulder moves right there. Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. This video is titled the 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder, the leader for life of In The Image Clothing Company. No new information. What's up, airplane? No sales pitch, no breakthrough. A lot of people just don't know what's going on. I didn't until I was about 24 years old, about 3 years ago from now, the 25th of August, 2026. Let's wait for the airplane. All right. Let's wait for the airplane. let's wait for the airplane. It doesn't matter what you want to do. Sometimes you have to wait for airplanes. Maybe. But also, it doesn't matter if you want to wear oversized clothing. You can't. Physically. I mean, mathematically, biologically, anatomically. There's only one way the bones connect in the body. So that's all you could ever do, is have joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts. Again, I was about 24 years old before I started to actually wear clothing that fit me. I wore larges, and so a lot of times even extra larges and tops. I actually wear a medium, personally. I'm speaking personally to give some context, to give some perspective of understanding of size. And the point is getting out of chronic patterning that gets built up through this stuff. Specifically, oversized clothing is an imbalance. Shoelaces, drawstrings, these are just ropes we could tie on the body and put one side over the other and twist the entire human being. In the Image Clothing Company, in the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, the only way the top of the feet are shaped if we're weaving a rope across the top of the feet. In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, the body's got its own rotations within our clothing, from internal versus external rotation. And if our clothing's rotating, placed onto our bodies will be stuck in a rotation. We do live in a right-handed world. 85%, give or take, to 90% of human beings, somewhere around there at least, across the entire earth are right-handed. So, staying centered, fitting correct, being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials, that's what clothing has to be for every body, the literal wording. Everyone. The literal wording, if we're talking about this universal human design, it can be different, only from something, okay, which is the universal human design. Your body could be different, sure, but regardless, no matter what you're wearing on your body, it's got to fit your body correct. Scar tissue, bone spurs, where muscles connecting to bones pull on the bones unnaturally in an unnatural angle, and the bones grow excessively. The tendons connecting the muscles to the bones grow excessively. And we have to rid this patterning that gets built up in the body and get back to the only way the human body could ever work, because there's only one way. The body grows by itself. But, a lot of what's going to cause this is just oversized clothing in itself. You're just pulling your shoulders down to the low end of their neutral. I mean, even just trying to lift your shoulders above your head, you've just got clothing in the way of this joint of the shoulder happening, meaning the motion happening at the joint of the shoulder where three bones come together. The bones aren't going to move, but the musculature around them that connects them to the rest of the body does move, because what happens is you got to try to work around the clothing. Like I'm saying, everything we do, we're doing it in clothing, we're doing it through clothing. If you're trying to work around clothing, you're going to change the only way your body works. And instead of just lifting your shoulders above your head, where the bones join, oversized clothing doesn't allow the shoulders to lift. Specifically, oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. And that's this video's title on the 25th of August, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main side. So what'll happen is, you'll try to lift your shoulders up, and the rest of your body will compensate, and now you've got your body in all sorts of different angles. And chronic patterning gets built up. So, allowing the body to work, what that really means here under In The Image Clothing Company's main side, with that being our slogan, and the reason we're a clothing company, at all, really, okay, is either you never alter the body, and it just works. It grows by itself to work, that's why we have it. It's a mechanical machine to take us across the earth. Or, if your body gets altered along the way through any of these things that I've mentioned, being imbalances in clothing in this, but just being right-handed, the jaw gets imbalanced, the jaw stabilizes the entire body. Yeah. Oversized clothing will fall to our dominant side, 85 to 90%, give or take, of human beings being right-handed across the earth. If you wear oversized clothing, it's going to just move off to the side you're using the most, which if you're right-handed, it's your right side. And now that side's going to have the hardest time lifting out of either side of your body at the shoulder from an oversized top sitting more on your right side because it's got play in it or motion. We talk about tops being like cages for the shoulders, right? Tops are like a cage for the shoulders, locking the shoulders in place, meaning no restriction to the shoulders, but just fitting right at the joints of the bones so that the top's not moving around, and so your body can. Because otherwise your body's trying to stabilize something placed onto it when your body has to stabilize itself. You know, anything oversized in clothing or just loose fitting, something that's not just fitting snug on the body at all, literally clothing the body with anything. In the Image Clothing Company, the literal word of clothing, just something placed onto something else. But the human being, in this case, right? Clothing the human body with anything. If it's not fitting snug, the body is trying to stabilize that thing onto it, you know? If you didn't know, now you know. That's what's happening, you know? Now you do. Don't believe me. I love the visual, okay? I mean, I've talked about this many times. This is a big deal. Just oversized clothing as one of the many things that is a true imbalance, even if it doesn't seem like it. Because you could have an oversized top and it's the same exact distance off the left shoulder as it is off the right shoulder because it's too large, but it's still imbalanced downward from up or down in the shoulder height. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work. So what happens is it pulls on the skull from the musculature connecting from the shoulder to the skull. You know, there's a lot going on here. We get so many imbalances in the body, and the jaw is such a big deal. The jaw connects directly to the shoulder. I mean, you can see it. Okay? The musculature, the tendons connecting the jaw to the shoulders, and there's a centered position to the jaw. Okay? In all the ways. But there you go. There's your visual. I love the visual. Like I'm saying, I've talked about this many times, how oversized clothing affects the shoulders. This is a huge theme, if you will, under In the Image Clothing Company. Our slogan is allowing the body to work, and this doesn't, right? Oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. But the thing is, you'll stretch your latissimus dorsi muscles, you'll stretch your pectoral, you know, your pectoralis major and minor muscles all day, every day, and whatever you want to do to try to get your shoulders to just naturally raise above your head at the only location the bones connect in your entire life. It never changes. The fullness to the range of motion is always there in the human being from birth to death, you know, and we're getting just proportionately larger until we get full grown, but then from full grown till death, the body's just the same thing. But you place an oversized top on your shoulders and you just create an imbalance, mostly from top to bottom. In the mathematically measurable ranges to the motion in the bones of the shoulder, with musculature connecting them, pulling them up, musculature connecting them, pulling them down. Okay, the shoulders as a whole. The 25th of August, 2026. This video's title, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, is something I've said many times here, but oversized tops don't allow the shoulders to lift. Check out the other 3 sides of In the Image Clothing Company if you'd like to. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, In the Image Clothing Company Podcast with discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're on episode 216 as of today's date, the 25th of August, 2026. Just deep insights on life. You don't have to be religious, but we're all human beings, the same thing, placed on the same earth, designed by the same God. It just is what it is, before we could try to figure out what it is. You ever seen a baby learn something for the first time? That thing was already there, the baby just learned about it. In the Image Clothing Company, music. We do a lot with music, rhythm and poetry, spoken word, lyricism, singing, guitar playing, geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ with the messages. So in-person events, the state of Utah, the United States of America here in the Image Clothing Company, specifically St. George, Utah. Things for the environment, things for people's bodies, you know, just discussions on the anatomy of the body by itself, free modifications and not only clothing imbalances to allow the body to work, but, you know, modifying the way that we can approach life, if you will, living in this modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth is different. We've got a lot of inventions, materials that didn't exist in the past, things in clothing that didn't exist in the past that are physically placed on our bodies, stretch, which goes the exact opposite direction of the only way the muscles of the body could ever work. Muscles only ever can pull together. It's an electrical system sent from the brain. Muscle fibers fire and come closer together. Right. Anyway, there's a lot more I could say, but I'll say it when I do. And I said a lot before now. Thank you. Did I mention I'm a lyricist? Are you hearing this? The lyrics that keep coming out of my mouth again and again, talking about the same thing that always affects the human beings in the same way? Well, if you don't hear it today, I'll be doing this the rest of my entire life.